The buzz this weekend obviously has been about the new Army regulation. Tell me a little bit about what effect you think it'll have.
Well, first of all, when that regulation came out, it was a big change over last 2005 to 2007. The 2005 version was you had to register your blog with your chain of command. They had the ability to review your posts after publishing. This new regulation changes it so that you have to give, every post has to get previewed before you can publish.
I certainly think that the new regulations are going to have a chilling effect. I've spoken to two bloggers about that are in theater, and there's a lot of confusion about what can they say, how do they do this. They talk to their commanders, and their commanders didn't have an answer for them. They're very concerned about this.
The soldiers that I know who blog write so well about what they do, and they love what they do, and they write about it because they love it and they want people to know what they do. And I think to take that away would be a big disservice to how people learn about the war.
It's good. It's a raw avenue of information, not, unedited, unscripted. It's going to give you an eye into what it's really like over there in Iraq, and I tried to do that exactly. I showed sandstorms. I showed sandstorms we drove through, what it was like on patrols, how hot it was, stuff like that.
So the Army this week received a big firestorm from military bloggers, Senate, U.S. senators got involved, and sort of stepped back a little bit.
I do think that the military is already starting to walk back from this. General Petraeus and others have come out in support in this, as well as Matt had said, Matt from Black 5 had said at the conference, he received, we have Republican senators and Senator Kennedy, both voiced support for the military bloggers. That's a very positive sign.
Regulation and what effect it might have.
Well, it depends on whether it kicks in or not. And we're hearing lots of mixed commenting going on. It's too early to say really how it's going to affect it. Because, I don't know, the President spoke this morning at our welcoming address.
Right, he sounded like he was very pro-military blog.
Yeah, it sounded like he's pro-military blog, and he's the guy in charge.
Right.
Depends on your commander.
Came out with a fact sheet, and the fact sheet says that none of this is true, that you don't have to preview blogs, the commanders have discretion, things like that. It's sort of a ridiculous claim. The fact sheet will help, right. But when a commander's in Iraq and he needs to refer to operational security guidance, he's going to pull out the reg and it's still going to say you need to preview the post before publication.
What eventually is going to happen is people are going to follow that regulation, because not some press release that the military put out to say, no, that regulation doesn't mean what you think. People are going to follow the letter of the law. That's the way it works in the military. Mm-hmm. They have to cover themselves. The commanders don't want to put themselves in a situation that are, they're going to compromise operational security or compromise their careers. So the military needs to go back and change that regulation quickly.
And so we do have this problem where the guidance is going to say one thing, and yet we're getting a different guidance from a public affairs officer who says it's okay. So what we're going to try to do is get these fact sheets in the hands of all the bloggers in Iraq and Afghanistan, so they have a little bit of ammo. So when they approach their commander about blogging, that they'll have all the ammunition they need, so to speak, in order to be able to continue blogging without huge, probably unmanageable restrictions.
Right, and you have blogged from the combat zone before, correct?
Gaining connection to the world. I met my wife over there, hiding back in the corner, and it was a good connection to the world. Got a lot of support. Was able to go out and reach out to the country.
Keep on blogging, but be careful what you blog for. I mean, I did that even when I blogged my son. He would tell me things that were inconsequential. For instance, he would tell me something about their body armor. And I realized when I wrote the blog post, my critical element before I hit the post button was, is there anything in here that I should look at differently that could be used against to injure my son or other soldiers?
I'm not sure how it affects me personally as a spouse. I haven't read the regulation yet, but I will be paying close attention to what everyone says and how it affects us.
As long as people do it with discipline, with doing it the correct way, not talking about the wrong things, then I'm all for it.
And there were a lot of times when I said, well, geez, they might be able to use that. Whether it was something about their armor or their vehicles or the way they operated or where they were conducting missions, simply was deleted from a blog post. And as long as people follow those rules and and they use common sense, they're well be in compliance.
One of my husband's good friends was Neil, who wrote at Armageddon, and his site was wildly popular because he tried to let civilians, let anyone in on what Fallujah was like. And that site was amazing, so people could actually get a glimpse of what was going on. And it was after the fact. He had passed the OPSEC. He wrote about it after he had returned, right? But it was a great way for people to see the war through his eyes, and to take that away, I think, would be a shame.
I think the Army should do a better job of embracing it instead of seeing it as something they need to combat. You know, I think if you trust your troops, then you're going to trust what they're going to talk about. You know, and, like I said, with it comes discipline, and as time goes on, the Army will figure it out. It's just going to take time.